Hello and welcome everybody into the clubhouse here at Glendoveer Golf and Tennis Club in Portland, Oregon. The final round of the 2023 Portland Open presented by Latitude 64 is today. This is Tournament Central. Brian Earhart joined here by Terry Miller. Terry, it's always electric here at Glendoveer. The fans are feeling it, the players are feeling it. How are you feeling?
Well, first of all, a little bit chilly. We've been talking about the unbelievable weather that we've been having not only this weekend, but back in Washington, also at Beaver State Fling. In fact, I feel like that's almost one of the additional storylines here. So many locals saying, you have no idea how blessed we've been here for these last few weeks. This swing of the tour, we're going to soak it all in. Temps are probably going to rival what we saw yesterday, mid to high 70s at the peak. That won't be until 3 or 4 this afternoon. And we're also going to expect some variable winds, but nothing too crazy out here. We'll see if that shakes up the scores at all.
Well, Kristin Tattar, 6-stroke lead going into the final round, and is anyone going to catch her? She looks so solid right now, even when she feels like she's not playing up to her standard.
Well, if she does anything like we've seen over the first 3 rounds, she just needs to maintain. Somebody's going to have to do probably something special. Kristin, even if she stumbles, it's just that. She usually finds a way to pick herself back up 1 or 2 holes later and fight through her round. That would mean someone's going to have to not only erase the deficit, but then also get past her. That's going to be a very tough task. Hole 15, when she took that bogey yesterday, that was the first time she took a bogey since way back on 18 of round number 1. So she's been playing very clean. She even admitted a little bit that she might have had some fatigue at some point, but even when she's tired, she's still the best in the world.
Well, and this is a course, this East course allows you to be a bit more laid back when you're playing. It's a little bit shorter than the previous course on the west side of the facility. So she can take her time. She can throw shots that are just good enough off the tee. As long as you get down there, the second shots give you a lot of opportunity to get creative and play to your strengths. And Kristin's doing that right now. I think the consistency comes from the fact that she plays a consistent style. She keeps the disc very similar height almost every time. She's not going for any aggressive rollers. She's not going for any aggressive big flex shots like some of the other players we're seeing on the card. And she's putting. Like, what do you do? What do you do against that?
Well, 2 things I take away. First of all, that start she had yesterday, 5 for 7. If she does that today, even if somebody keeps up with her, she's still going to have a 6-stroke lead. So 5 through 7. And then we saw that one blemish. I know I just spoke of it on 15. That was because she got a bad kick and went out of bounds by less than 3 inches. She almost made the recovery putt. So even her mistakes were of very minor nature. And again, that's going to be tough to beat.
Well, she said you have to have a little bit of discomfort all the time, no matter what. And I think that's an experienced player talking, knowing that no matter how big your lead is, you have to keep the foot on the gas because you have so many talented players ready to shoot a hot round. And if you shoot something average, that 6-stroke deficit can get a little bit scary, so to speak. We did talk to Kristin after her round yesterday. Let's take a listen.
It felt mostly good. I mean, on the back 9, I felt like I cooled off a little bit, so, which was a little bit frustrating, I admit. And maybe that's what caused me some more errors as well. But overall, I think I played well. I mean, the whole card played so well, so I was just happy to keep up with them. I was tired, yes, I must admit. I mean, I was just trying to remind myself that there's some more holes to play, so just be in the moment and don't give up. Even if you miss a putt or have a bad approach, it's not the end of the world. You just have to power through it, and that's what I did. I mean, on this course I feel a lot more pressure to birdie. I feel like I have to birdie almost every hole out there because birdies are gettable, and I know the whole field's going to take birdies. So it's a different kind of pressure for me versus on the other course. I know it's a little bit tougher, and not everybody's going to take birdies. So it's a bit of a different challenge, I must admit. I cannot say that I'm ever comfortable on the course. Doesn't matter if I'm leading or not leading. I mean, you have to have that discomfort in you in order to play well. That's what I feel. Because if I feel too comfortable, I'm going to start making mistakes. So that discomfort is good, and I'm not afraid of it.
Well, she is your leader by 6 strokes. I looked at her putting, 100% C1X day number 1, 100% C1X day number 2, and 83% yesterday. looks pretty solid. We'll see what she's going to do today. And the closest competitor to her is Sai Ananda. Again, she sits 6 back of her. What's Sai going to need to do?
She's going to need to do a little bit more than what she's done the past 3 rounds, but not too much different. Obviously, the scoring needs to improve if she wants to catch Kristin, but to capture the hearts of the spectators and blow the minds of the spectators, she doesn't have to do much different. I spoke to a lot of spectators yesterday about the FPO round and what they thought of it. They were glued to Sai Ananda and how she was attacking the course. She is throwing some of the biggest, most surprisingly long flex shots that I have seen in a long time. The disc is snapping out of her hand. Her timing looks fantastic right now. She even joked the other day that she might add a 4th step to her X step, which we'll see if that actually happens, but she's playing great disc golf right now. She looks like an elite player. I think yesterday was the round that truly convinced me that she's no longer a flash in the pan. She's here to stay, and every part of that backhand and her putt can get her the scores necessary to chase down Kristin if Kristin happens to have an average day.
Well, seeing how well she closed out, I always think about that in the second to last round is how do they finish the round and what can they think about and carry into the championship round, that of course being today. And I also want to just touch on 150% of the points. Sai Ananda looking to make a big jump in the standings here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, trying to close out on Championship Sunday. My final question before we hear from her for you, Brian, would be, is she the only one? She's 6 back. JK is 8 back. Is she the only one that could catch Kristin?
Personally, I do think that because she's going to have to probably shoot double digits or better if she wants to get there. Asking someone like JK to shoot into the double digits, that's tough, but we'll just have to see. We listened to Sai talk very adamantly about her round yesterday. Let's take a listen.
I was definitely, had dreams of maintaining position, but, since I'm a little bit fresh on tour, I still try to manage my expectations and try not to beat myself up if I, don't rise to those high expectations that I set myself up for. So I feel absolutely ecstatic to have maintained position and to have executed some amazing shots out there with some of the best players in the game. What sets tournaments apart for me now is I have had a lot of wins and successes, but it's been in junior and advanced and a handful of open wins. So I think the level of competition is really, it makes it all the more gratifying to play well and to shoot well. I definitely, once the adrenaline is going on tournament day, you feel like you're a little bit more explosive for sure. And then I think it also might be partly like disc selection. Some of the times when I throw too far, I could definitely have made like a better selection to kind of control the distance a little bit better. And I also feel like I'm still like taking strides in my skill. I'm still really, I don't think I've reached kind of like the pinnacle of my throwing form or, my putting form. So I think it's also a part of me occasionally, doing something a little bit exceptional. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a possibility still. So I'm still haven't reached my ceiling yet.
We are going to take a quick commercial break. On the other side, the other player on the lead card today, 5-time world champion Juliana Korver. We'll see you then.
Hey, I'm Johannes.
Hey, I'm Jonathan.
And today we're going to talk about how to aim.
You have some problems with the distance, the timing, and pretty much everything. This is kind of the ground or the beginning of the throw. There you go.
So we're going to throw some forehands.
Oh yeah. Then you just stroke the board and then you push it in the basket. You should never, ever throw your max on a golf course.
What?
Should have brought some snacks.
I got you.
Ah!
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Oh, Karen, do you know where hole 17 is?
I got you!
Is that a compass? Karen, why do you have this?
Ethan, just help me. We gotta get this set up.
Okay.
It's getting dark.
Welcome back. Another player on this FPO lead card going into the final round, disc golf and really flying disc royalty, multiple-time freestyle world champion, multiple-time disc golf world champion, Juliana Korver. It is such a treat to have her on this feature card. I think a lot of people are looking forward to see her attack this course today.
Yeah, what she's been doing over the last few days, I think she would say she's even almost surprised herself in some capacity. It's been so great, so calm, so collected. And what I love to see is that it feels like she's gotten over some of those short-range putting hurdles. She putted very well yesterday. In fact, she was 100% for quite some time. And the one putt that I believe she missed was just an inch or two short. So her putter is looking good, and we've known it for decades now that her driving has always looked good. She says she doesn't drive as far as some of the other women out there, but she's also certainly no slouch out there when it comes to the driving form.
The best nose angle control that I've ever seen, and spin control as well. This shot that she threw on the beautiful downhill par 4, hitting the base of the basket, felt like it was in the air for absolute forever. And then the long putting. I mean, that's something that a lot of times she lays up some of these longer putts, just making sure that she doesn't have to make a comebacker. But the confidence looked like it was there. Again, it's just so refreshing. And then she nails this beautiful step through on 16, and you see the release of emotion after all these years, all this success. I mean, this is a shoo-in for easy Hall of Fame induction for Juliana, and this is just a bonus for her.
Yeah, as she struggled, I was thinking about hole number 9 where she took the double bogey. That was an uphill shot, and that she threw it low. She got into trouble off of the tee, and then she just kind of struggled her way up that hill and then finished with that double bogey. But then you saw on the scorecard, she bounced right back, and she's carried on as if nothing had happened. I love to see that recovery. She's been doing this again for decades, so no surprise. We caught up with her after her round yesterday, and here's what she had to say.
I tried not to think about how it was feeling. I tried very much just to concentrate on the next shot. Still just as nerve-wracking as ever. I'm still scared to death standing over those putts, but seems like I've got the mechanics down, and I'm able to put some in now, which is a big relief. With the exception of one hole, I really felt that everything was working well to my advantage, even a couple of places where I thought I threw a bad shot and I got maybe a beneficial kick. So yeah, it just feels like everything's working well. Playing on the same card with the women that are throwing significantly farther than I am. I've never throw 100% off a tee, so it's not that I can't throw a little bit farther, but boy, I can't throw that far. But they're not far enough that I can't make it up on the second shot if I'm doing well. So far that's working. My expectations were to make the cut.
All right. Well, check that one off the list. That one's easy.
It's all just a big bonus, and I hope that I can, throw some good shots in front of the crowd again and just enjoy it and try to stay in the moment.
Well, I will say she has mentioned publicly that this is potentially her last year competing on the Disc Golf Pro Tour before she maybe moves into more of a media role, standing right here probably beside one of us, Terry. So for those of you watching today who haven't seen a lot of Juliana Korver, soak this in just like she's going to soak this in. I mean, this is kind of her victory lap season, and you can tell the gratitude is there, and I think she's really excited to put a show on for the fans, which is fantastic. Obviously, another player that's ready to do that is Missy Gannon, who's jumping onto the lead card as well. Missy, I mean, what else is there to say? She's been consistent for years, and she's been ready to chase down one of these big Elite Series events. Obviously, multiple-time champion here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. What are your thoughts on Missy?
Well, what I'm seeing when you look at her stats and the way I break it down is she is not connecting really from circle 2. We see that one just off, or just actually follow in, and that may have been beyond all circles. But Missy Gannon, her stats show us that she had 0% in round 1, 0% in round 2, only 11% from Circle 2 in round 3. We know she's a good putter. She's going to continue to be a great putter, but she needs to get a few of those bonuses. And I remember talking to Stacy Ronsley before the tournament started, and Stacy said, I think one of the keys to success out here is to take advantage of your C2 looks. That's exactly what she told me way back on Wednesday, and we're seeing that Missy just really hasn't been connecting from that distance. That's one area of opportunity. You see, she racked up plenty of birdies yesterday. It was incredible out there what she did. She had 10 birdies. That was more than any other woman in the field, but she had the blemishes on there as well. Very colorful scorecard. She cleans that up, shoots a 10 under. She could be fighting for one of those last couple of podium spots.
Well, I noticed something interesting when I was watching Missy. Her backhand and the decisions she makes with the backhand remind me a lot of Kristin Tattar. They throw these really nice, consistent, tight flex lines. They like to kind of lean and turn the disc out of the hand right away rather than flip it up from a long hyzer. The only real difference, I mean, their putts are very similar in skill. Their backhands are very similar in skill. It's the forehand that separates the two, and Missy leans a bit more on the backhand. I'm interested to see how the two of those players can maybe feed off of each other in the lines that they take this round. We caught up with Missy as well. Let's listen to what she had to say.
And it was going good, and then all of a sudden I would get a bogey randomly in the middle there, you know. So they kind of those kind of surprised me, but I was happy to be able to usually bounce back pretty well. Yeah, I think double digits for sure is possible. You know, on these bigger courses, you just have to, you know, minimize the bogeys and and get the birdies when you can. And I think that the East course specifically is definitely more scoreable than the West, I would say. Right now it seems like it's a race for podium. So yeah, I'm only a couple back from second place, so I've just got to keep doing what I did today and just not get bogeys. And I think that I can move up quite a bit tomorrow.
On the other side of this commercial break, there is an epic battle poised to happen here in the MPO division later this afternoon. We'll talk about it after the break.
This is Latitude 64. We handle the smallest of grains with the greatest of passion. Always trying to improve, trying to be better, out of curiosity, excitement, out of thrill, for the player, for the game. Because we want to make disc golf awesome for you.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
Welcome back. Joined here by PDGA's Hayden Henry yet again. Hayden, you've been on the ground interviewing all sorts of players this week. And as we move into the East Course for the final round, what is the overall sentiment that you've gathered?
Just everyone out here is enjoying this property, from the players to the spectators. Just talking with some fans yesterday, absolutely having a great time. The crowd continued to grow through the FPO into the MPO all day. Today's going to be rocking, you know, for the FPO action. What a treat of a league card we had yesterday. They all kept pace with Kristin, and we get to run it back today. You know, watching Sai Ananda, as y'all have hit on, it's been a joy. You know, and Terry talking to JK yesterday, and the pride that you could see in her face for what she's accomplished this weekend is just truly inspirable. So, going to be a fun day all the way through. One more little fun fact that our PGA nerd hearts loved yesterday. Our event support team noticed that all 4 players on the lead card kept score. on the digital scorecard. So our events support team really appreciated that. That's something that the players have mentioned, including Kristin, where all 4 players can keep score. Eagle mentioned it in the press conference the other day. So if those 4 can do it, you can do it too.
Well, that's some wise words there, Hayden. I do have to ask, PDJ just has so many things going on at all times, obviously being the governing body of the entire sport, pro and am. What do you guys have going on right now?
Yeah, you can get to know the 6 candidates for the global board right now, all through the month of June. Voting will start in July. We'll hammer that home to you the entire way through. We got Bob West's Sportsmanship Memorial Award coming up. You can nominate a player there. State and provincial coordinators, there's closing in on 7,000 PGA sanctioned events this year. You can get involved in that way. And then major season. Catch up on Solinsky from last week. U.S. AMs is next week. And then AM and Junior Worlds, Masters Worlds, European Open, all in the next 6 weeks.
Go get involved. Go vote. Go make your voice heard. And go play some big disc golf tournaments, regardless of if you're a professional or an amateur player. It is such a wonderful experience, no matter what your skill level is. We're going to take a look at the leaderboard and hear from our MPO lead card players coming up.
It'll probably take a hot one, with so many talented players at the top, someone's going to pop off. So, I haven't looked at the scores, but I'm imagining if someone can get near double digits, 10, 11, that'll probably do it. But yeah, we'll see.
Even like a week ago, I was definitely forehand dominant, just trying to throw forehands anytime I had a gap to hit. And this week especially, I felt that just leaning on the backhand. I've been hitting the gaps really well, and it's a really cool feeling because I think it is a better shot in general. So I'm hoping to keep that trend going forward.
You're only a stroke off the lead in Adam Hammes, who shot a 10 under par. I know 5 is probably okay, but not incredible to your standards. Are you surprised?
Surprised about?
Only being 1 stroke off the lead.
Yes, because I felt like I played like crap. So I'm just going to get off the tee tomorrow and hopefully bring home the win.
What's it going to take this thing down?
I think the same mentality, stay away from the bogeys, and hopefully this can feel as comfortable in my hand as it did today. So looking forward to it.
It's interesting. We have a lead card full of players who we wouldn't call seasoned champions. I know Adam Hammes has won Elite Series events before. He's easily the most experienced in that situation out of the rest of the players. Is that why we've seen some shaky up and down performances the past couple of rounds?
Yeah, we were just talking about it as to, it feels like some of our lead card performances on coverage at least have been shaky. We haven't seen that consistent play through and through. Our players are making their charge from second, third, fourth card, and I was just thinking to myself, is Aaron Gossage the most steadfast player that we've seen this weekend, and that we saw him in the last couple of rounds? But Adam Hammes had to make this big charge. He sets a course record shooting the 10 under to get him into position here. I'd love to see someone put it together. We know that they struggled. I think of Corey, I think of Aaron. They struggled early in both rounds 2 and 3, and then they kind of battled back. Let's see if somebody can get out of the gate and then really set the pace, set the tone early on. I'd like to see that today.
Well, honestly, listening to the way Adam is talking, I think he's really gotten control over his mental game, at least yesterday when the crowd was a bit smaller. We'll see what happens when the thousands of people come out today on Sunday to watch him. We are going to take one more commercial break here on the other side. Paige Pierce, we'll see you soon. Double G Craft Jerky has been a favorite of mine for years. The unique flavors and delicious taste make it the perfect snack. Every bag of Double G Jerky sold contributes to the Double G Children's Foundation, which helps support youth disc golf. Visit doublegjerky.com and use coupon code DGPT on your order to get a free 1-ounce bag of jerky with your order.
Latitude 64's boys down here just finished checking out the design your hat, and everything is A-OK.
Hey, Jonathan, catch. Huh?
Jonathan, we're getting an anomalous critical failure on your suit. Could you please confirm status?
Sorry, man.
Warning, low oxygen.
is Garrett Gerthy, and I'm the founder of Double G Craft Jerky.
I love the fact that it's resealable. I can just get a little bit, keep my energy levels up, but not eat like a half of a meal in the middle of my round.
My favorite bag is the Smash Cracked Pepper. That's my perfect salty snack.
This is my go-to, the Sexton Sweet and Spicy. If this bag gets open, there's no need for the seal, because I'm gonna eat it all.
Welcome back. Paige Pierce on the chase card today, battling for a podium spot. Terry, I think Paige had a great day on the disc golf course yesterday. I think the score didn't necessarily reflect what I noticed from her. Just typical Paige, spectacular, highlight-worthy play. I mean, I remember on hole 8, she hit an early tree and then threw a 450-plus foot hyzer under the basket to drop in her birdie. But just kind of a flat finish. And the reason I say it was a decent performance is because today she could easily have a similar performance in the front 9, and then as long as she closes out that last 4-hole stretch, she's right there close to double digits.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that, seeing how well she played in the middle, and there's been a theme this weekend, and I think we can say it of so many of our top competitors. When you look at hole 1 on both courses, hole 1 caught up a ton of our players, Paige Pierce being one of them, and she, as you were just mentioning, didn't close out very strong. I compare and contrast that with someone she's tied with. We'll talk about Ella Hansen in a moment, but just notice how she strung together all of those birdies in the middle section of the course. It was very impressive. Look at her, though, going 2 over through those last 4 holes. Now let's compare that to what we're seeing from Ella Hansen, who she's tied with. She's in that kind of no man's land of just chasing a podium. There's not a real practical chance probably to catch the likes of Kristin Tattar, who she's trailing by 11. However, we'll see if she can put together a solid round. I look at Ella in the last 4 holes. She goes 1 under, including the birdies on 17 and 18, and their scorecards aren't quite opposite, but look at where Paige collected so many birdies in the middle of the course. Ella were on the bookends. And so maybe if the two of them were playing doubles, they would have destroyed the course out there today. But again, hole number 1, tripped up Ella Hansen. Some of these players just having struggles getting out of the gate, whether that's nerves or the challenge of the hole, of course. It's something I'd like to see if they can get off to a really hot start.
Yeah, and I think hole 1 is just tough. I mean, it puts your second shot to a place where you can make a decision to go for the green, but the decision you have to make is, what technical turnover do I have to throw with power to get there? It's easy to saw it off and go out of bounds left, and that's what happened to Paige, and I believe it happened to Ella as well. We have to talk about something before we wrap this show. We have to commend Holland Hanley for something that she did yesterday, really encompassing the integrity in all of disc sports. Terry, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, really the long and the short of it was, and she actually ended up posting it then on social media later on in the night, telling everyone as to why she received a penalty that you could see over on UDisc. And she said that, I didn't notice, nor did my card mates, that they realized they entered in the wrong score for her on hole number 18, kind of hastily got their scores together, submitted them, and then when thinking about it, she went back and realized, I actually scored a 6 on the hole, not a 5. And so she later, more than 15 minutes later, I believe, after they turned in her scorecard, she came back, she let the tournament staff know, and she said, I scored a 6 here, not the 5. And what is really impressive about that is obviously the integrity and the honesty and the truth behind it, but not only does she get the extra stroke in terms of getting the 6, but then she got a 2-stroke penalty because she had submitted the incorrect scorecard. So when it was all said and done, she still makes the cut. She'll live to see Championship Sunday, but we can't commend Holland Hanley enough for the integrity and the honesty there.
Well, hopefully it sets an example for the rest of the players in the MPO and FPO divisions. It's certain to be a great day of disc golf here on Sunday. I told Holland before her round, Karma will catch up. That was a really solid move by her. We're going to wrap things up. We're going to get onto the Disc Golf Course. Championship Sunday is underway. For Tournament Central, I'm Brian Earhart. He's Terry Miller. Let's get to work. See you, Terry.